get started on this shower remodel, we needed to remove the old fiberglass insert. To do so, we started by disconnecting the drain at the bottom and then cutting it up into pieces with a reciprocating saw so that we could remove it easier. We also knew that the left wall that extended all the way to the ceiling, we wanted to cut that down about halfway to about 42 inches. That way we could make the shower feel a little bit more open. I was able to then finish off the half wall around the left side of the shower, making sure that that was nice and level and square. And then we also needed to start on the rough end of the plumbing and the electrical. Then it was on to the framing. We already had the drop ceiling removed, so I needed to start framing the new ceiling, or where it would go. Now for the steam shower, we actually needed 2 inches of pitch per foot, which we've got about a 3-foot wide steam shower, so that resulted in a 6-inch drop. What I did instead of dropping the ceiling there in the shower was I was able to go up into the actual ceiling and kind of create a little bit of a drop or a rise in the ceiling and then a drop. Now that didn't account for all of the 6 inches that we needed to come down, so what I did was I built some blocking and made a little soffit-ish thing around the top of the shower to kind of hide that drop in the shower ceiling itself. Now for the plumbing, the drain, the existing drain location was in the center of that fiberglass insert. However, I knew we were going to be adding a bench in the shower, so we needed to move that drain to center it with the floor pan. Now this rough end plumbing for the shower was actually fairly involved. We had 3 body sprayers, we've got a rain shower head, we've got a steam port as well as the steam generator that needed to go in, a diverter, and 2 shutoffs. So there was a lot of copper that needed to be done, and that's why I had my buddy come over and sweat all those joints for me. With all the plumbing and electrical roughed in, then we could move on to the actual drywall. Now, drywall is one of those things that, well, I just hate to do it. So luckily we have a guy that we use regularly for drywall, and he does an excellent job. We had him come in and hang and mud all of the drywall, and it turned out great. One last thing I needed to do was fill the giant hole in the floor of the shower pan. That was where the existing plumbing was, and it didn't matter, the hole didn't matter because the fiberglass insert. So once we moved the plumbing, we could pour some concrete in there to fill it, and then I brought the floor up using floor leveler up to the height of the existing tile, which we're gonna tile over. But before the tile went in, we needed to waterproof the shower. Now for this project, we used Curdy, which is a Schluter product, and that went on with thinset. We were able to install that on the walls. It's just a waterproof barrier, and it goes on with a small amount of thinset, and you just kind of squeeze that out with a flat knife. And then we also installed a bench against that half wall, kind of hidden by that little L shape. Now, I am no Schluter pro by any means. However, the process went fairly straightforward. Like I said, you just use some thin set to get it on the walls. We got all that in place, overlapping 2 inches to make sure that we've got a nice waterproof joint. And then we added some of the angled pieces that go and fill the corners and make sure those are waterproof as well. Once all the walls were done and the bench was in, then we can move on to the shower pan itself. And that is a prefabricated shower pan from Schluter that we used and cut it to size. It fit in there great, and we just, again, applied that with some thin set, installed the drain itself in the floor, and then we moved on to the shower curb. The shower curb is again a Schluter product. It is a foam curb that gets cemented in place with thin set as well, and then waterproofed with some additional Curdy band, as well as the shower pan itself waterproofed with Curdy band and their corners. Now, I know a lot of people will say you can't tile over existing tile. Well, yes, you actually can. As long as there's no cracks and it's nice and stable and you know that it is a good base, you can definitely tile over existing tile. Once the floor was out of the way, then we could move on to the shower itself. Now, at this point, it was around Christmas time and we were all really busy, so luckily we reached out to a friend of ours that does lay a bunch of tile, and he was able to kind of fill in for me and keep this project rolling on those days where I was just swamped and other stuff. He got a lot of the mosaics done, and then I was able to come back on the wall tile for the shower, and that turned out great as well. For this shower, we opted for no shower niche, and the reason being is just because, well, I didn't want all the soap bottles and stuff to be visible from the outside, so I thought that maybe the bench would serve as a place to store some of those bottles and out of sight from, you know, the outside of the shower. With the tile done, then we can move on to grouting the tile, and we chose to go with an epoxy grout for the tile, and this is going to make sure that it is somewhat stain proof, and it's a little bit harder to work with. It sets up fast, however it is going to result in a better final product. Now, in order to waterproof this tile edging into the wall and kind of caulk that in, what we ended up using was DAP's Ultra Clear, which is a great product. It is super clear, it is waterproof and paintable. So going ahead and laying that Ultra Clear into the wall first and then coming back and painting over top of it will give us that nice crisp waterproof line. With the vanity and the toilet out of the way, then I can move on to the shower final plumbing, which included installing body sprayers. And I hadn't done this before, so this was a little bit of a learning curve for me. However, they turned out really, really good. Beside the body sprayers, we've got all the controllers for the shower itself, which includes a temperature controller in between 2 shutoff valves. One shutoff valve goes to the overhead rain shower and the other one goes to the body sprayers. With all of that installed, I came back and sealed it in place with DAP's Ultra Clear again, which is a great product for this because it gives us that nice 100% waterproof seal. After getting all that wrapped up, the last piece of the puzzle seemed like it took the longest, which was the shower glass. We ended up having to wait about 5 to 6 weeks for it to get installed since the first batch of glass that was shipped to the installer was damaged and they had to reject it. However, once it got installed, it turned out amazing. And with that in, we could move on to all the final details, which included the decor and just the finishing touches that went into this bathroom. So this shower's actually got a lot going on. We've got a rain shower head above, which is controlled by this volume control valve. So this volume control, basically the water comes into this mixing valve, you set your temperature here, and then you can turn your rain shower head on using this valve. This valve down here controls the body sprayers, and those are both gonna be connected to this temperature valve. So you can turn your body sprayers on by itself, or just the rain shower head, or both at one time. But the other cool feature about this this shower is the steam port at the bottom. Now this steam port is connected to a steam generator that's back in the mechanical room, and right on above it, you can actually put in some aromatherapy, stuff like that, essential oils or whatnot, and that will, like a eucalyptus oil, will actually fill this room and really clear you out. So the shower turned out absolutely amazing, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. If you want to see the entire bathroom remodel, I've got that video right there. Until next time, be safe and happy building. Get out of here, I'm gonna take a steam.